for Social Security Office of Disability Adjudication Review. Just as a comment started out, I've been a manager in SSA for 27 years, and nothing has caused me more heartburn than FlexiPlace as far as when you deal with the public every day. We talked about productivity, and this is what I thought too. Now, we have our clericals. That's the worst. I can understand the attorneys working at home because they don't deal with the public or have to answer the phone calls. But we thought preparing cases for the judges, for instance, yes, because of no interruptions. For instance, they can do 4 at home or 5 where they can only do 1 in the office. Well, in the old days, they'd do 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1 each day. Now they do 0, 5, 0, 0, and 0. So I'm still getting 5 because all they're doing is catching up on the mail and everything else that comes in while they're gone. And I don't have the staff to backfill for them when they're gone. It's actually created headache after headache after headache. The other thing, of course, maybe I'm old time on this, but I want my floor soups to soup. I don't want them home doing administrative work. But have you dealt with actual people? I mean, when we deal with the public, I mean, hundreds of people coming in, hearings every day. We have to answer congressional calls. And like you can't forward these to people at home. They might not have the file to answer the questions, so somebody has to pick up and backfill for that. For us, it's been an absolute nightmare. And I get from my chapter members throughout the country, that's the #1 complaint I get. Please end this. Now, have you dealt with agencies that have to, and I can understand higher level management, and I can understand the ones that have the funding to get the secure laptops and not carry files out that are this big. And sometimes when those hit the desk or per person's thing at home, I just play Sergeant Schultz. God, what's happening to that folder? But if you dealt with any agencies that have to deal with the public on a daily basis and have this be successful?
Now you're talking about, I thought I heard you say clerical positions, or are you talking about analyst positions?
No, I'm talking clericals.
Okay.
I'm talking, you know, the ones that would prepare the cases for the judges, the ones that would handle reception. Of course, they have other jobs, so when you pull them out, somebody has to backfill for them at the front. Now we have attorneys that work at home, but they're not doing any more at home than they do at work. And of course, the union contract basically says you have to do as much. That's where it stops. So, you know, so we're really not, you know, getting that benefit. And I was just wondering if you've actually run into it where of this being successful in agencies that have that much walk-in traffic as we do, either by hearings or regular Social Security offices, because that's where the challenge comes in, not the agencies that don't really deal with the public on a day-to-day basis.
Well, Jack may have a response for you. What I would like to do is put you in touch with the senior executive who's in charge of our Civil Rights Division Disability Rights section, because they have a pretty extensive staff that includes some walk-ins for disability rights issues, a hotline service, and they have implemented telework, and that person is very well versed on this. So she may have some suggestions, or she may tell you that the particular positions you're referring to wouldn't be as compatible with the telework. But if you'd like, after the meeting today, I'd be glad to get your information and put you in touch with her.
Yeah, if I could just add just a couple things. One, I hope it didn't come across that I said every position is eligible for telework, because I didn't say that. But the message that I would give everybody is there's a lot more positions that are eligible for telework than a lot of times we think are eligible. We have 2 payroll people that handle all the payroll issues for the entire agency. And now they telework. They have to have 2 things. They have to have access to what's called the Defense Civilian Personnel Data System, which they can do from home, and they have a phone. And if they have those, and they have their email, and if they have those things, then they interact with customers all the time, they can do their job. The other thing, and this is just probably more, well, 2 things. One is, if you read The World is Flat, in that, so many jobs that people viewed, before that, were not conducive to this kind of thing. I mean, when you probably know this better than I do, when you call, as a customer, a lot of times the help desk that you're getting is in India now. It is, and they're doing it. So jobs that were viewed as very, traditional, that had to be in an office, and that a lot more of them can be done, I think, outside the office. The other thing is, I think if you really think long term about this, about cost and everything, if you believe, and I believe this firmly, that it's a recruitment and retention incentive, and it's going to be more and more for the future. You're going to lose people if you don't have it. You have to think of it's almost that intangible cost. If you lose people, what's the cost to replace them? not just in the time that it takes your HR people to recruit and hire them, but perhaps maybe losing 8 to 10 years of expertise and institutional knowledge. And so I think you have to factor all those things into what you're doing in the strategy. And I mean, I can't answer, for your organization. I just think collectively we have to think a lot broader and think that there's a lot more positions now because of the technology and pretty inexpensive technology that's out there that are conducive to telework. Our director, 3-star Air Force general, says that there's only one job in his immediate office that can't telework. Anybody want to take a guess on what it is? No, his driver.
Oh, his driver.
Everybody else can telework. And I said that to one of our techie interns, and they said, well, in a couple of years, they're going to be able to do the virtual driving too, and he won't even, he can even let us. But the point is, it's not for everybody, but I think it's for a lot more people than we sometimes think it's for. So. Sorry.
Excuse me. Jackie, please use the microphone.
I have had experience with telework. At my agency, they call it FlexiPlace. Mm-hmm. And we have had the experience using that for our employees. And I don't think that we determined that there were jobs that were not, eligible for FlexiPlace. It was just that the people that wanted FlexiPlace, we entered into these agreements, the FlexiPlace agreements for them to work in, sign up for. And the people that historically signed up for FlexiPlace were the problem employees, the ones that you were having problems with when they were right there. And of course, when you have active unions at your work sites, and the unions are, they've negotiated this and they are advocating for it, you then have a productivity issue that doesn't occur. You give them, you sign, you enter into the agreements, they go out and come back and they haven't done anything. They come back to work and the work that you gave them for that week is work that still hasn't been done. So we then terminated all our people in FlexiPlace. We brought them all back to work. We just said, well, you're not being productive, you're not really accomplishing the mission of the program, so we're terminating all the agreements, and we're bringing you all back to work. So we brought them all back to work. So now we got this push now that, okay, if you don't put them back in telework, you're going to have a problem. Put the teleworking back out for the programs, and the people that you think could telework are the people that don't want to telework because they're saying, oh, I really don't want to work from home because I need to be here where I can bounce ideas off on my coworkers, things of that nature. The ones that want to telework are the ones that don't telework. So how do you handle the issue of poor performers that you really got to sign up for, and then when they come, you sign them up, and when they come back to work, they haven't accomplished anything?
Okay, I'll go first, and it won't be a good answer, okay, because I think it's very complicated. But just two things real quickly. I have a real simple mind, and so I have a view that superstars, no matter what environment you put them in, are going to be superstars. So if you have them in the office, you have them telework, you have them anywhere in between, they're going to be superstars. The average or the employees, I think you put it wherever you put them in, they'll be average and maybe better if it's a better environment. And the people that are trying to get over, and I would like to think in most organizations, those are a very small percentage. You could hire somebody to watch them 8 hours a day, and they're going to figure out ways to get over it. So we don't make decisions based on that because we view that the people that are problems or performance issues are very small in number. But my last thing on that, and I'll be quiet on that, is I believe that telework gives you a better opportunity to monitor poor performers because in a normal work environment, they have 10 excuses. I got interrupted 200 times. I had, three people come to my office. There was 10 fire drills. I mean, they'll come up with, 200 reasons. If they're at home, they don't have any of those excuses, and so I think it's easier to hold them accountable if you say, I need these 4 documents done or these 4 reports done, and if they come back and they haven't done anything, I think you have a much more. Well, let me finish. They have a much. You have a much better basis then to document why they didn't get the work done. So that's just my view.